I have had one doozy of a day.
You know those movies that someone recommends but it just doesn't quite click with you? When I was told about a movie about misunderstood hillbillies and college kids, it just didn't appeal, but my mind was changed as soon as I saw the trailer for Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I get a lot of Happy Death Day vibes from it, a film I absolutely loved, but trailers have deceived me before. Will this one live up to the recommendation, or will my hot streak of good movies to review come to an end? Here's my review of Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. A college frat group of 9 kids go camping by a lake in West Virginia. Coincidentally, best friends Tucker and Dale have recently acquired a rundown cabin by the lake so they can renovate it and go fishing. The site is the spot of the Memorial Day Massacre 20 years previously, where a group of hillbillies murdered a group of college kids with only one of them surviving. That night, the frat decide to go skinny dipping, and one of them, Allie, is spooked by Tucker and Dale, who are night fishing. She falls into the lake head first, hitting her head on the way down. Dale rescues her, but because Chad told the story of the Memorial Day Massacre earlier that day, the rest of the frat think that Tucker and Dale have kidnapped her. Allie wakes up the next morning, and although initially scared by Dale's appearance, the two get talking and Allie realises that he and his best friend mean no harm. The other 8 college kids, on the other hand, start to plan a rescue. One of them, Mitch, goes to knock on the door, but at that time, Tucker is soaring through a tree, cuts through a beehive and runs away from the swarm wielding the chainsaw. Mitch thinks he's being chased by Tucker and inadvertently runs into an exposed tree limb, killing him. Tucker returns to the house, mad at Dale for not helping him work, and so the two go out to find Allie's friends, leaving a carved note saying, "We have your friend," which Allie's friends misinterpret as a threat. Later that day, Allie is helping Dale dig an outhouse, whilst Tucker is throwing trees into a wood chipper. 2 more of the frat, Todd and Mike, run at the hillbillies but accidentally spear themselves into the ground and dive into the wood chipper respectively. Allie accidentally gets knocked out by Dale with a shovel, and the 3 go back in, covered in blood from the 2 latest deaths. At this point, the teens think that Tucker and Dale have killed their friends and captured Allie, and so one of them, Chuck, goes to get the police, but another, Chad, is hell-bent on rescuing Allie. Tucker and Dale also realise how suspicious they look and try to dispose of Mike's body at the same time that Chuck arrives with the sheriff. The sheriff doesn't believe Tucker and Dale's story, but heads inside the cabin to check on Allie. He leans on a pillar and because it's loose, he's accidentally impaled with a piece of wood on a nail. He staggers out to the horror of the remaining kids. Chuck grabs the sheriff's gun and goes to shoot Tucker and Dale, but accidentally shoots himself in the head instead. Chad grabs the gun and starts firing at the cabin, causing Tucker and Dale to go back into the house. Chad, in order to draw out the friends, takes their dog Jangas hostage. Tucker manages to rescue the dog but gets captured by Chad. Chad hangs Tucker upside down and cuts off 2 of his fingers, throwing him at the door of the cabin with a note demanding Allie back. Allie has just woken up from being knocked out, and after Dale catches her up on what she's missed, he goes out to rescue Tucker. Dale finds Tucker quickly and rescues him, narrowly avoiding getting speared in the crotch by a trap, but whilst he's out, Chad and another girl, Naomi, try to rescue Allie. Allie tries to explain what's happened so far, as she's the only person who can see both sides, but they accuse her of having Stockholm Syndrome. Tucker and Dale return, but before an all-out fight can break out, Allie suggests they all calm down with some tea to discuss their differences, just as long as it's not chamomile, as it irritates Chad's asthma. Chad explains that his mother was the sole survivor of the Memorial Day Massacre 20 years previously, and after she was institutionalized, his grandparents raised him and told him the story of what happened. Whilst the 2 parties are talking things out, the 2 last members of the frat, Jason and Chloe, burst in with a weed whacker to rescue everyone. In quick succession, and all by accident of course, Naomi gets hit in the face with the weed whacker, Jason gets set on fire and the cabin quickly ignites. Allie, Dale and Tucker escape the burning building, leaving everyone else to burn. Chad somehow survives, albeit with horrible burns on one side of his face. Tucker, Dale and Allie drive away but crash into a tree very quickly, with Dale being knocked out. When he wakes up, he finds Tucker bleeding on the floor and is told that Chad has taken Allie, and using Jangas, locates them in an abandoned sawmill. Dale fights Chad and rescues Allie, but when fleeing the deranged college student, Allie discovers an old newspaper that shows that Chad's father was one of the hillbillies that killed so many in the Memorial Day massacres. Chad can't believe this reveal, and while he's distracted, Dale throws chamomile tea in Chad's face, and Chad falls out the window. In the aftermath, Tucker gets his fingers sewn on, while Dale and Allie go bowling. They get to know each other, and then kiss. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is a good time. It's not a super deep film, so there's not really that much to review. I suppose my biggest criticism is the amount of cast. There's no need for 9 college kids, especially when I, as a reviewer, had to look up most of their names, and when more than one is killed at a time. Hypothetically, if only one was killed at a time, I think the group could have started with just 6 and nothing would have been lost. We also may have got some more character from these guys, because aside from Ali, Chad and possibly Chloe, there are no characteristics for them, and it just shows in my plot summary. I like the character of Ali, who's the most level-headed person and even tried to play the mediator at one point. Her relationship with Dale is well played out in what is quite a short film comparatively. The relationship between Dale and Tucker is also really well played. Actors Alan Tudyk, who I'm already a fan of, and Tyler Labine rehearsed and hung out a lot before shooting, so they could build a rapport, and it works. I'd love to do the same, but unfortunately, Rachel McAdams won't return my emails. There are so many misunderstandings in this film, from big ones such as assuming that Tucker and Dale are murderous hillbillies, to the smaller ones such as scrawling out the message "We have your friend," which is misinterpreted as a threat or a taunt. It's a credit to the writing that although these misunderstandings and accents are sometimes quite far-fetched, they still come across as both believable and funny. If I'm nitpicking, the beginning of the film where investigative journalists get killed by Chad takes away from the suspense of the ending. It's played up that Chad fell out the window, but he disappeared in the aftermath. I think having this scene right at the end would have been a better ending, maybe even a mid-credits scene. Eli Craig, who co-wrote the screenplay and directed, wanted to subvert the common tropes about teenage kids and hillbillies. If you're a more straightforward mindset though, there is a version of the DVD release that lays it out from the frat's point of view and plays like a typical slasher. One could, if they wanted to, take away the moral that you should see both sides of the story before making a decision. But this is the internet, so I'd be wasting my time trying to make that point. The film did okay financially, eventually recouping its $5 million budget. It had a very limited theatrical release in the US, and I think it deserves a lot better. Perhaps it's the comedy and horror mix that put people off, but then again, going back to Happy Death Day, it had a similar budget and made over $125 million just 7 years later. Talk of a sequel has been mentioned here and there, and to date, 11 years later, nothing has been confirmed. Honestly, I think the film would do a lot better now. If you get the chance, I'd recommend Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, if the idea of a bloody horror comedy appeals. I know this isn't a very long review, but honestly there's not much to analyse, and that's not an insult. Sometimes a film can just be fun without overanalyzing it. It's a fun film to enjoy and not think too much about. My critiques are really minor. It doesn't need 9 kids, and the beginning should have been at the end. Otherwise, what else can I say? It's a great film, give it a watch. Next up for the Film Review Open Challenge is Mortal Kombat. For now though, thank you very much for watching.